Welcome to Strange Bedfellows, a Julian Fellowes fan cast. I'm Kirt Graves.
And I'm Stefanie Jochman-Deepak, and today we are discussing the 4th episode of Downton Abbey, Season 2.
We're halfway through it. And actually, this is an episode I was excited to rewatch. I think this might be the one episode of this season that I like rewatching, and that I had rewatched prior to this rewatch. I was gonna say, I think this is about when I usually would check back in, because I would skip those first few episodes where there was more stuff happening at the front, and then once it becomes more about what's happening back at Downton, I'm far more interested. So I think this is usually when I would check back in. I feel like I've watched this episode more times than I have the previous 3.
Yeah, same. More like beats of this were things that I remembered.
Well, speaking of beats of the episode.
Yes.
Shall we, would you like to do our famous 60-second recap?
Absolutely. One night only. Before Rogers broke heart, before Simon and Garfunkel parted, and before the Gallagher brothers of Oasis left a trail of broken instruments and hotel furniture throughout the UK, there was another pair of sparring siblings who made beautiful music together, Mary and Edith Crawley. Tickets are on sale now for a one-night reunion concert featuring these sister chanteuses. Of course, they'll sing everyone's favorite standard, The Only Girl in the World, but keep an ear open for such deep cuts as, My ex's new lover isn't as bad as I thought. You make me feel like a contrary woman. Baby sisters, buggy driving beau. I wish we had a man. Perhaps he'll make me very happy. An officer and a lady's maid. Missing in action. The inspirational hit, Secret Soup Kitchen. And finally, Perhaps I'm Still in Love with You. I'm awfully glad you're not dead.
Oh my God. I love Secret Soup Kitchen. I'm singing it constantly.
I mean,
it's one of those earworms, you know?
Yes.
You hear it and you just, it's
exactly.
in there for days.
I much prefer it to say like the Christmas shoes, you know, it's in the same vein. But...
Oh crap. Just saying that out loud put it in my head.
I'm sorry.
Just escaped that season.
Yeah. And I mean, when you want to just like turn up the radio, You Make Me Feel Like a Contrary Woman is the song to say.
You make me feel like a contrary woman. Nice.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it.
Awesome. So yes.
Yeah. So again, this episode, I just watched it and then made a few notes afterwards about like what stood out to me. So feel free to jump in as often as you want with things that were more important for you. I just have a few things.
Okay.
One of which is my favorite quote from this episode, which is Violet saying, I'm a woman. I can be as contrary as I want.
Such a great line.
Mm-hmm.
Such a great line. Yeah. Amen, Violet. Amen.
Yeah. So let's talk about Isobel and Cora.
Okay.
Because this started last episode where I said it was still a little fun.
Yeah.
But it comes to a head.
Yeah.
In episode 4. In a way, in a dramatic fashion that I think is good for the show, but personally I didn't like it.
No, I didn't like it either.
Where Cora and Isobel really just like have it out.
Yeah.
And Cora is like feeling, first of all, Cora, I feel, is in the wrong.
I agree.
In this situation.
I agree. And so
I will say no more until I give you a chance to speak, but that's where I'm landing.
Yes. No, I think Cora is in the wrong. I mean, okay, yes, these people have invaded her home, but it is wartime and they are providing a necessary service and she is not a nurse.
Right.
If anybody knows.
Has she ever run a hospital or an organization of this size before?
Exactly. So for her to be...
Which does not mean she's incapable of doing it.
Right.
But I think in that situation, the smartest, most capable people would first look to those who have more experience and learn a little bit and then offer what they know. In this case, a great deal she knows about how to run the house and the people who work there and the facilities that exist there. Very valuable input.
Yes.
But we start this episode by Isobel showing up and being like, well, it's time to go on rounds with the doctor. And she's like, we did it. We didn't think we needed to wait for you.
Yeah.
Ma'am. That was rude.
And it's an odd thing for her to be so dead set against
what Isabel's doing, given the collaborative behavior she demonstrates later in this episode.
Yeah.
So that she picks this
and over like scheduling stuff. Like, why wouldn't you just talk to Isabel and be like, hey, you know, with our current schedule, our staff is having to eat at 11 and then they don't get dinner until 6 and it's too long. We need to shorten that gap. So either dinner needs to be moved around or lunch needs to be moved around. I think lunch is the easier solution.
Yeah.
Let's do that. I don't think Isabel would have been opposed to that. She's a reasonable person. What she's mad about is nobody's including her.
Right. I blame O'Brien. I blame O'Brien just because it's nice to blame O'Brien. And also, I think O'Brien sort of poisoned the well of Cora and Isabel's relationship, given the things that she was talking about in the... she's kind of always been looking around going, oh, she wants to do this. Oh, look at her helping Sybil, you know, become a nurse. Oh, she's like putting her hands where they don't belong. So I think O'Brien sort of soured Cora on Isabel and maybe projected this idea of Isabel for Cora. And so that's made her less inclined to do what for us feels like the natural thing of, hey, can we have a conversation?
Yeah.
Hey, can I talk to you about this?
Fair. Yeah, let's blame O'Brien.
Yeah.
And like also in fairness, like Isabel is overstepping. She's so, but it's out of eagerness. It's not out of malice.
No.
It's not out of derision. She doesn't think everybody else is stupid and I'm the only one who can do this. She's just so eager to be of use and to be helpful that she just jumps right in. And in fairness, she knows a lot. She knows how to do a lot. She can do it.
And I'd like to please knit on your future stitch. Not knit, on a future sampler. I cannot operate where I am not valued.
Yes.
Listeners, let's internalize that message. I cannot operate where I am not valued.
Yes, very
when
true.
you need to leave that job that's getting you down, there's the line for you.
Which is exactly what Isabel does.
Yeah.
In a pretty entertaining way, where she said, well, if you don't need me, I will go. And Cora says, okay. And she goes, no, I mean it. And Cora says, okay. And she's like, just to be clear, I mean what I'm saying. And Cora says, okay. And she's like, well, then I'm going to go. And Cora's like, yeah.
Verbal
we've
chicken.
covered it.
Yeah.
I think you should.
Yeah.
I wish you would.
And so this sets up Isabel to potentially head to France.
Yeah. Not potentially. She does it. She's off.
Yeah.
By the end of this episode, she's gone. By halfway through this episode, she's gone.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, she's gone. Which abandons Mosley and Mrs. Bird back at her
Crawley
abode.
House. Yeah.
So yeah, which creates its own storylines, which I thought was very interesting.
Yeah.
Because obviously with Matthew and her both gone, there's nothing for them to do.
Right.
And yet they remain employed, which is great. Like, good for the Crowleys, keeping them employed.
Yes.
But they got nothing to do.
Nope. And Mrs. Bird, what a gem.
Once again.
Like, she's just a gem. She was a gem last season. She's a gem this season. Like, cheering on Mosley. Like, I think they're going to keep you on the staff. Look at you rising up the ranks and not really demonstrating any jealousy. You know, she teases him, but it's such a good-natured, encouraging teasing. She really is cheering for him. And then when the occasion presents itself, the two of them start a soup kitchen.
Yeah.
For wounded vets.
Yeah. She is once again proving to be the best of them for now.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she did have a bit of a rocky start. I loved her arc in the first season, but now we know, like, she genuinely has a good heart. She's just kind of like a no nonsense, says what she thinks, but like, yeah, a soldier comes to their home and says, "Do you have any food?" And they're like, "Well, yeah."
Yeah.
What am I going to do? Turn him away?
Right.
And then he brings a friend, and before you know it, they're running a soup kitchen.
Yeah.
So lovely storyline. Just to wrap that up, eventually O'Brien finds out about it and goes and tells Cora, and is like, "Cora, you gotta go stop this." Muppet.
Yeah.
Can you see
We're
her
doing
in
hand puppets.
Yeah. If you're not watching, she bounces on over to Cora to be like, "I think you should come and see what they're doing. They're stealing your food." And because Mrs. Patmore finds out about it and Daisy finds out about it, and they're like, yes, obviously this makes sense to feed these men who are the walking wounded. Of course, they're hungry.
Yeah.
And then when Cora finds out about it, she is on board. She's not happy that they were
using the military's
food.
Yeah.
Which I do feel like at a certain point, like, wouldn't a Mrs. Patmore think well enough of her employers to go like, hey, there's this problem we have in our community that you are supposedly the caretakers of. And it's that there are homeless veterans who don't have enough to eat. And there's a pretty simple solution.
Yeah.
It just needs a little bit of cash.
I mean, I think the 21st century notion is that Mrs. Patmore would do that, right? And that no one would fault her or criticize her for doing that. But the early 20th century truth is that, one, Mrs. Patmore might feel like it's never her place to ask something like that of her employer, or she puts herself at great risk for asking that of her employer. Because like Mrs. Hughes is the go-between, between the staff and somebody like Mrs. Patmore most of the time.
I mean, maybe she doesn't do it directly. Maybe she goes to Mrs. Hughes and says, hey, this is what's going on.
And maybe they're also feeling like, well, it's wartime and things are strained. And I think there's just too much of a division and too much, feeling of being in a certain place or certain level that the notion of being able to ask or put forward like, hey, you could solve this problem for me feels out of reach.
Yeah. I'm going to do that really annoying thing that sometimes people do. And I'm going to say yes. And when I really mean but, we just had a conversation in the last episode about how the hierarchy changes.
True.
And I mean, Mrs. Patmore would know the right way to do it, which is probably going to Mrs. Hughes and having Mrs. Hughes bring it to, Earl and Lady Grantham. I just think that even at that time, when there's such a need, somehow you get word, even if you have to do it through back channels or like make them think it's their idea, which we know they know how to do.
Yeah.
You pass along the concern and say, especially at the beginning, because if she could have gone right away and been like, hey, Mrs. Bird is paying out of her own pocket to feed these men. Is there anything we as a household can do to help?
Yeah.
But instead, they keep it secret. They start taking food from the army surplus budget, which, like, what is that? What's surplus in that situation when they're supposed to be feeding all of these men? That's a bit sus, which Cora immediately recognizes and is like, stop doing that, because we don't want the army thinking that we're taking their money and not doing good things with it.
Right.
And she's immediately on board.
Yeah. I think maybe then this becomes less of a what would Mrs. Patmore have actually done and more of a Julian Fellowes needed a narrative device in which to have Cora surprise us and us to be in suspense about something that Mrs. Patmore and Mrs. Bird were doing.
He's in there typing away being like, well, Cora was a real bee at the beginning of this episode, so I got to do something to bring her back.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that makes perfect sense narratively. But I do just think, like, sometimes it's like, come on, guys.
Yeah. No. So many problems solved by a conversation.
So many.
Yeah.
But all's well that ends well.
Yes.
They will continue to do the soup kitchen. It gives Mrs. Bird some purpose. It allows them to help all of these starving people on the streets of their town. Yes. Good.
Yes. Yeah.
Good. And then there's Mosley, who, like, out of sheer boredom, walks to the big house and is like, Carson, I will shine those shoes for you because I'm literally so bored. I will just help you. And maybe out of some sense of obligation that he is being paid by the Crowleys, so like maybe I can go and make myself useful. And Carson is like, great. Here, I just imagine him making a long list for Mosley every day and being like, well, since you wanted to help.
Yeah.
And then going and sitting with his little thing of port and like
well, here's Mosley doing, following Sybil's advice. The only enemy is doing nothing, right?
Yeah.
Or the enemy is doing nothing. So here he is doing something,
Is it a little odd that in Lang's absence, nobody thought, maybe we could use the valet that's down the street and not doing anything.
It is, but it is also Molesley, who tends to like fade into the wallpaper unless he's making a mistake.
Forget. Oh, you know, you.
Yeah.
You're trained. You could. You could be his valet.
I think
Why didn't I think of that sooner?
Speaks to his humble character that they don't think of.
Because I forgot you existed. That's why.
Yeah.
Poor guy.
Mm-hmm.
Poor Molesley. And then, of course, right as he's ready to step up and take over as valet for Robert,
Bates
it's the
is
return
back.
of Mr. Bates.
Yes. Robert goes and gets him from the Red Lion once he learns that he's been working at this public house.
Mm-hmm.
For shame.
Which
Anna went and visited him at.
Yeah.
Which we totally didn't even talk about last episode because.
Yeah, that's fine. There was some Anna Bates investigates
Yes.
last episode as well.
Yes.
And then, of course, Robert tries to tell her, like, break this news to her. And she's like, "Sir, don't you know I run a detective agency? I absolutely knew that this was happening. It is no surprise to me. I know everything before you know it. It's real cute that you thought this was news."
Yeah, I like that he's working at a public house. She's like, yes, the Red Lion
Yeah.
in this particular town. He's like, oh, okay.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. All right. Don't try to tell Anna things.
Yeah.
She knows. She knows.
And Robert has this very heartfelt moment with Bates, but I did feel this twinge of like, oh, here we go again. I feel like Robert has these beautiful moments with Bates where he says wonderful things and he shares how grateful he is for him. But then he also has these moments where he's like, you're terrible. Get out of my house and I don't trust you. And I feel like it becomes a cyclical thing that is slightly problematic.
Yeah.
Or maybe I'm overblowing the number of times this has happened.
Hard to say when you rewatch a show like 20 times.
Yeah. Like, are the moments complaining? Is there one moment that's repeating?
They did have a big fight when
Yes.
Bates left because it was without notice, and Robert was rightfully upset by that. And even though Carson, I think, told him early on, you know, he really fell on his sword for the house.
Yeah. And
Robert
he still
knows that
won't
much.
tell Robert what he knows.
Right. But at least Robert knows that now and could go to him and be like, listen, it was me. I'm the problem. Come on back. But yeah, I think this will happen again.
I know. Don't like it.
But at the same time, the family really does stick by him in some troubling times coming up. So
This is true. Okay.
So, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, good to have him back in the fold.
Yeah.
Just sorry for Molesley.
Speaking of Bates, I think he's going about this all wrong again. Terrible proposal to Anna, and now like a terrible way of coming back by first of all letting her find out about it before he has a chance to talk to her. He's like, you know what the best policy would be? No communication. I'm just gonna go with my plan. Yes, I plan to get back together with you, but it's gonna be on my timeline, and you will know when I'm ready for it. And here's all the good news about my future ex-wife, and she'll leave us alone. You know,
Yeah.
he has this whole plan, and he is planning to go back to Anna, but he doesn't reveal any of it until she finds him out.
Yeah. Big heart, terrible judgment.
Yeah. Are these red flags that Anna... Well, it doesn't matter. She loves the guy.
She does. And I think his goodness makes up for the poor decisions.
Mhm.
I feel like a woman like Anna is very practical, and she sort of has to look at the whole picture and say to herself, he's made these judgments that aren't great, but overall he's a whole lot better than a lot of what's out there.
Sure.
And he's convenient.
That's true. Well,
They don't get out much.
You can't always control what causes the butterflies. So,
Yeah.
and I am convinced that the characters in this show, those two really do like each other.
Yes.
Do I get it? No, but I think they do like each other.
They really do.
No.
And I think talking about can't control the butterflies transitions nicely to thinking about Sybil and Branson,
Yeah.
right? That,
Gosh, I love these two.
yeah. And Violet wonders if Sybil has a crush. She says war breaks down barriers, and it's very easy to find oneself on the wrong side. And this is Violet thinking about her own beaus And like she had this very swoony
Plural.
past. Yes.
Plural.
Yes. I love when we think about Violet's like very swoony, very romantic, very string of bows history.
Yeah.
She got around.
Yeah. So
to
she
speak.
knows of what she speaks when
Yes.
it comes to this situation. And she's like, I can see, and especially with like Sybil working as a nurse.
Yeah.
Like she has really separated herself from her peerage, you know?
Yes.
And so it's very reasonable for someone to assume that a girl at her age in this circumstance might be interested in somebody she shouldn't. And then as soon as that thought is in Mary's head, she like sees it and is like, ooh.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then it's like, Sybil.
Yes. And perhaps go ahead.
No, if you have the quote, you do it.
I was going to say, perhaps even overhears, you're too scared to admit it, but you're in love with me.
Right. Yes.
Yeah.
Ooh. Ooh. Why is it not creepy? That should be creepy.
I honestly, I did not find it as romantic this time around. It was a little intense.
Maybe it's just that Alan Leach is so good looking that I was like, yep. No, that tracks.
And I feel like maybe I just haven't been paying enough attention in their scenes. I feel like the first time I watched the show, and maybe even last season, the romantic tension was really palpable. And there's something about this season where I just haven't felt it as much. Like it feels like a given.
Yeah.
But it doesn't feel as like, oh, look at them, torn apart.
True. You know what? I think that if that is intentional, I think that's great writing though. Because yes, the spark was lit and the fire is burning. But for Sybil, who suddenly has so much more to do, it is secondary.
Okay.
For Branson, who is continuing to do the job he was doing, like not much has changed for his day-to-day life. So his fire is burning.
Yeah.
It continues. Hers is like, I'll stoke that later, but it's not what I'm concerned about right now.
That's a good point.
It doesn't mean the feelings aren't there. It doesn't mean that the connection we have is severed. Clearly, she's still taking time to go talk to him and confide in him. And so he's probably correctly reading all of those signs. But yeah, there's definitely more of a coolness to her, I think. Mostly because she's just not thinking about that.
Yeah.
What could be less important than getting married when you're in the middle of a war and your house has been turned into a hospital?
Right. And you're seeing, death and injury and things, far beyond what you could have ever imagined when you're living in the safety of that home and imagining a life for yourself that was totally predicated on your marriage.
Right. And as she said earlier in the season, like so many of the boys her age that would have been appropriate choices for her are dying.
Yeah.
So that just speaks, I think, to Violet's point, which is like the barriers break down, but also like, who is she going to be with? Who could she have a crush on?
Right.
And I think she's maybe guarding herself in that regard as well, because like even Branson could be called up.
Yeah.
And she could lose him. So like, yeah, if her policy is like, I got other things to do and I'm not getting attached, smart girl.
Yeah. Although by now she knows he's been rejected.
By the end of the episode. Yeah.
Yeah. So she knows he can't go into the fight,
and yet he keeps referring to like all these protest things he wants to do.
Yeah.
So maybe she's still leaving a part of herself open to like, well, he might do something stupid and I still might lose him. So
that's a good point. Yeah. She's protecting
if she's
her
smart,
heart.
She won't think, oh, that's behind us now that he's almost gotten caught for doing one thing.
Yeah.
Right?
She's just trying to.
His side is still there.
She was very impulsive last season and she's being so guarded and so cautious about this relationship because she has witnessed.
Nothing is certain.
Yeah.
The future is uncertain.
Yeah.
And speaking of things that are uncertain.
Yes.
William, who is supposed to visit Downton, does not show up and does not communicate.
Nope.
And that prompts Daisy to talk to Edith and Edith to talk to Robert. And Robert finds out that both William and Matthew have gone missing.
Yes.
They were on patrol somewhere. We don't know where they are anymore.
Right. And so and they try to keep the knowledge from Mary, try to keep this information from her.
But eventually it's revealed to her. And so everyone is on tenterhooks, and it leads to this very emotional performance. Do you want me to just go ahead and go right here?
Please do, yeah.
So everyone's wondering, like, what's happened to them? Are they okay? And so this benefit concert is coming, and Mary and Edith are singing. This is where we get the "I wish we had a man," because the sound of the song would be much richer. Of course, which
is like maybe the only time when it's appropriate to say "I wish we had a man," because otherwise they don't usually make the situation better.
No,
but it's true, they have a lower voice.
Yes. So they earlier when they're practicing, before they know about Matthew being missing, they make this line. But in the actual performance, Mary is singing. It's, quite beautiful and vulnerable. And then Matthew arrives, and she can see him in the back of the crowd. And he says, "Don't stop singing on account of me," and joins the song, like provides the voice that they've been looking for. And this wave of relief washes over her face. This is why this is the episode that I've actually rewatched other than the Christmas special, because we get this like beautiful moment. And Michelle
love a musical moment.
Love a musical moment. And here we get our first taste of the many musical people in Downton Abbey. I feel like this is the show's first opportunity to really showcase their cast's musical talent.
True.
Here's my little bit of trivia to share. So it's interesting that Michelle Dockery is being accompanied there by Laura Carmichael, by Edith, because Laura Carmichael's real life husband, Michael Fox, who's going to show up later in the show as Andy, he and Michelle Dockery are in a band. They have a band called Michael and Michelle. They put out like an EP 2 years ago. I just discovered this as I was looking up stuff for this episode. Their song is beautiful. So
I'm gonna look this up immediately.
Yeah.
As soon as we're done.
They have a song, I think it's called Calming Storm. You can find it on YouTube, and you can find their whole EP on Spotify. I'm just going to shout out Michael and Michelle, because they make beautiful music. And like, I love the Crawley Sister trivia continues in that this song by Michael and Michelle got used as like the last song in this series, Playing Nice, that stars
Finley Brown.
Yes,
Jessica
thank you.
Finley Brown.
Yeah,
Brown
Jessica Finley. Jessica Brown Finley, right? She's in this show called Playing Nice. Last song in the show is Michelle Dockery's song.
Weird.
It's beautiful. And then their mother, Elizabeth Montgomery, she is in a band called Sadie and the Hotheads, and occasionally Michelle Dockery performed with them.
Wow.
When Downton was filming.
Huh. That is cool.
Yeah.
I love that.
There's
so much crossover between the worlds of music and acting.
Yeah. Also, listeners, do yourself a favor. Find Michelle Dockery singing Somewhere Over the Rainbow is another series that she was in. So she's in this like wild 80s fright wig singing this song. It is gorgeous.
Okay.
It is just gorgeous. So look it up on YouTube.
Michelle Dockery singing rabbit hole.
Yeah.
After this. Nice. Awesome. Was there anything else about the episode you wanted to touch on before we transition into the official trivia of the episode?
I mean, I think we get some. So Ethel, who is the best Tucker, she actually has a relationship with an officer in this episode.
Yes.
What I do like is that Edith clocks her flirting. Like at the start of the episode, Edith's walking around handing around letters, and she sees Ethel flirting with this officer. And I was like, no one else is worse at flirting than Edith. So of course, or like less, covert at flirting than Ethel. So interesting that Edith notices it, and so Ethel gets dismissed without notice, but reveals by the end of the episode that she is pregnant.
Yeah.
So pretty big plot point there going forward. And Mary has pretty much resolved that she's going to marry Carlisle, even though the whole family just keeps holding out for Matthew. And so she tells her grandmother, perhaps he'll make me happy.
Yeah.
Which is just the saddest line.
She's given up on happiness. It's good.
Yeah.
There have been several lines in the last few episodes where that's not her goal.
Yeah. So
it's a good marriage from the outside.
Yeah. So that is all.
That is all. Well, that's it for this episode recap then. But we do have trivia. So,
all right.
Every episode, one host challenges the other with a trivia question related to the Julian Fellowes property we're discussing that week. Could be about the actor, the production, the time period, anything really. First, let's take a listen to my answer from last week.
So we just finished talking about Lavinia and how she stole these secrets related to the Marconi scandal. And I'm hoping they didn't include this information in the episode, but I totally forgot if they did.
Remember how casually I watched this episode and did not take notes.
Excellent. This is working in my favor. What kind of business? So this was an insider trading scandal. What sort of business did the Marconi company perform?
Ooh. Can I ask, was it financial?
No.
Oh.
It actually has some relevance to the early days of this show.
Was it shipbuilding? My guess is shipbuilding, officially, because I can't keep getting hints until I get it right. Even though I can tell by your face I got it wrong.
That was a great guess.
Okay.
It's actually Marconi Telegraph Company.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
I would not have guessed that in a million years. And I don't think it was in the episode, but it is a very cool thing to know. To be honest, I didn't even clock, and this is probably because I wasn't sitting with my computer taking notes. I didn't even clock that was a real thing.
Yeah.
Because it's like, well, they would have to make something up for Lavinia to be involved in it. Unless she's a real person who made her way onto the show, which happens from time to time.
Yeah. No, in this case, I think they say her uncle, so that it had to do with like members of parliament having knowledge about certain business maneuvers. And so he was a member of the House of Lords or something like that, and supposedly did some insider trading when there was knowledge of the way that this Marconi company was going to expand.
A politician using their inside knowledge to make money?
Oh.
Huh. What a novel idea. I wonder if any other politicians have thought to do that.
I wonder.
I
Some are making billions.
Listeners, did you get it right? I didn't. Again.
You had a good guess.
Yeah, well, hey, I mean, sometimes that's the best you can do.
Yes.
Follow us on Instagram at StrangeBedFellows. That's Fellows with an ES, where we will be posting the trivia question each week. This week, I have a trivia question for Stefanie. So this episode, we have a lot of fear around the fact that Matthew and William have gone missing, which of course is something that happens a lot in war, especially at this point in time when cell phones were not a thing. And so a lot of young men from both sides went missing without ever really knowing what happened to them. Of course, it's presumed that they passed, and we simply don't know where their bodies are. There is a memorial to the missing soldiers of World War I. And so my question is about that memorial.
Okay.
What is the title given to the unidentified British serviceman buried in Westminster Abbey in 1920 to represent all missing soldiers of World War I? Tune in next episode to find out if Stefanie got it right. If you think you know the answer, find this week's question over on Instagram and put your answer in the comments. This has been another episode of Strange Bedfellows. You've heard our thoughts, and now we want to hear yours.
The best way to get in touch with us is on Instagram. Again, that's at Strange Bedfellows with an ES in Fellows, or email us at strangebedfellows@gmail.com. You can also find our personal social media links in the show notes.
If you would be so kind, please rate and review the show wherever you're listening to us right now, and subscribe so you don't miss any future episodes.
Thanks for listening.
Bye.
Bye.